Hey YouTube, welcome to this video. So this is the window regulator from my 1994 Mustang GT, and the issue with it is not so much that it doesn't work, is that the window seems to struggle to go up and down. So I know if I change this out it'll probably work, but I saw another video where you can actually possibly repair it, so I wanted to make my own video just for the benefit of those that would like to do that. So there are two clips here, or tabs, as you can see right there. Sorry for the lighting. There we go, that's one. And then the other one is down here. Yeah, there it is. Oops, sorry. So if we pull those back, the lid should come off. And I don't recall if you have to take that seat clip out, but it seems easy enough to do. Anyway, let's give that a go. Put the camera down here for a minute and see if I can do that with just some needle nose. Yeah, it's fairly soft metal, so yeah, it's coming off. That looks pretty good to me. Just gonna, I think you can see that. Let's see if we do it like this. There we go, now it's straight. Let's do the other side. Does it. Is there another place where it's pinched? No. So clean this off here on this side. Just needs a little bit more help. There we go. So let's see what's in here. Right, just as I saw in the other video, something completely fails. You can see all those plastic bits and pieces, and that's what the inside looks like. And so I'm going to go ahead and clean that out. And no, I do have to take that seat clip off because the gear has to come out. All right, let me clean this off. Just going to use some paper towel. So I went ahead and cleaned this piece off, but just wanted to show again what that looks like. I'm gonna dump it all out here so you can see. And apparently all that was some sort of plastic spacer or washer. And I'll disassemble the gear in here so you can see where where that goes. But yeah, just a lot of, I guess with heat or deterioration, or heat causes deterioration of that plastic, to the point where, look at that, I mean, it completely fails into a million pieces that are unrecognizable. You can't really tell what that was, or that there were 3 of them, as a matter of fact. So I'll continue disassembling this thing. But yeah, that's what happens. And I will say this car has been garaged most of its life. It's a 1994, so it is 30 years old, but even, you know, not being beaten by the sun or the elements outside, this failure still occurs. And again, I think the washers or the spacers go here, here, and here. So let me take this apart and see what I have that could fit in there. That is a lot of junk. Alright, what can I use to take that C clip? I don't think I have. Let's see if I could use these. Here we go. That's what it looks like. Sorry. C clip. And let's see what else we got here. There's a little bit, there's a gasket here, so I'm gonna leave that on. Okay, so this whole thing is gonna lift off. Right. So that's what this looks like. The gear looks perfectly fine. The shaft looks dirty. I'll clean that up and re-grease it. But yeah, you can see 3 small spacers or washers go in here so that this yeah, because okay, and I'll put some power to it to test it. Okay, let's see. So I'm back with the window regulator, and I went ahead and cleaned it all off. So now that's all nice and clean. You can see no more plastic bits and pieces everywhere. And what I was told you can do is insert 3 of these in the space where the plastic spacers were. These are 10 millimeter, so they basically go in here. And in there, let me see if I can put something underneath to prop it up so it stays level. There we go. So yeah, that's where they go. And this will just slide in there. And those will move on you, so you will have to reach in there with something to place them correctly. There we go. But once it's in place, it's pretty sturdy. There is some play still, even with those in place. So now you can see Yeah, that moves. There's still some play, but there was a lot more play before. So let me go ahead and reassemble this thing. Let's see if it works. I would say when reassembling, be mindful of the washer that was on there, and obviously the C-clip. Let's get that on there. And I think I probably need to redo this, yeah. Too wobbly. All right, so I got the C-clip on. There's a small washer underneath that. I'll throw some grease in there, but now you can actually see the 10mm nuts in there. Again, it seems like they're acting as spacers so that this doesn't wobble as much. Because it does wobble. I have a little 9-volt battery here I'm going to connect just to kind of show you how to put this down. Yep. So there it goes. And obviously with the window weight on this side, or actually more on top, I think, yeah. I'll see if it continues to stutter like it did before, or if this is the actual fix. All right. Hey YouTube, welcome back. It's been a few days since I repaired the regulators. If you remember, the plastic spacers or pieces basically crumble into a million pieces, and that's what causes them not to go up and down, or causes them to stutter. And I realized that the more you bring the window up and down from the initial time that happens, when they start to fail, the more you're breaking up the pieces into more and more. Anyway, let me just kind of show you here. So both the driver's side and the passenger side work well. The only other thing I would say, here, let me see if I can put this down here. I have here, this is the biggest piece I was able to salvage from both windows. So as you can see, it's round, like a cylinder, or a barrel, and it's fair. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's rounded off here at the edge. So I know this is the end or the top or the bottom, whichever way you wish to think of it. And then the other side here is also rounded. So I know this is the top. So I think this is technically the height dimension. And it's about 11 millimeters, I'll say. Yeah, about 11 millimeters. So I don't know, I was thinking, there's so many people out there with 3D printers that could probably print these off as replacements. They'll end up looking something like this. This is a capacitor, but the shape is basically the same. This is what it'll end up doing. This capacitor actually is the correct diameter. It's 10 millimeters as well. Again, we used nuts that were 10 millimeters. Unfortunately, this is about twice as long or tall as it needs to be. It's about 20, it's almost 20 millimeters, 19 or 18, 19, I think. So it has to be about half of this. It has to be very strong also, because I actually tried to use like a kind of a heavy duty straw, uh, and you know, you can cut it to size, and it was exactly 10 millimeters in diameter, so I thought it would work well. But you know, I guess you're dealing with a lot of torque, and the window is heavy. It ended up basically bending the pieces, the three pieces that I had cut, to the perfect size. When I placed them in the mechanism, it started to stutter again as it did initially. And I quickly stopped, removed it, took them out, and they were completely deformed. They had been squashed. So whatever the material is has to be strong, you know, maybe even metal. On one of the regulators, I ended up stacking two 10 millimeters on top of one another. I did that to the driver's side. The passenger side just has the one 10 millimeter, and which is to say, so on one side I used six 10 millimeter nuts, and on the other side, on the passenger side, I only used three. I don't know, just to give it some height, basically. And I think if you do the job yourself, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful. I happen to still have the pieces actually that I used on the window regulator, like I was saying. So this is the original piece. It's just a piece of it. And this is what I tried replacing it with, which, as you can see, it's the right height, and it is 10 millimeter. But when you actually use it, like I said, it flexes too much, so you end up with the same issue. These came out after I tried bringing it up and down probably once or twice. This is the straw. You know, it feels a lot more rigid when it's bigger or more together, but once you cut it into pieces, it loses a lot of its strength. So anyway, that's the piece that needs to be replaced. That's why the window does not go up and down, or has a lot of trouble going up and down, because those pieces are plastic. They deteriorate and they crumble into a million pieces in the process of deteriorating. I think metal would be probably the best. The nuts that I use, the only concern I have is that that's metal, and it's got, you know, kind of corners. It's hexagonal, I think, in shape. So I wonder if over time the metal on plastic will have an issue, you know, basically destroying the whole mechanism. I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. I think, you know, I had something, I think I have a magnet actually here, if I can show this. If it were something like this, but obviously bigger, I think this is just a magnet. That is the correct spacer that you would use, except it has to be, like I said, about 10 millimeters in diameter, and I would say 11 millimeters in height. There you go. Thanks for watching.